All right, so we should have you should have a home page and then basically two sub pages. All right, so currently the design is somewhat done. You're going to want to replace the graphics, obviously, to the imagery if you can help it. If there's like products or anything that you could do, get those a little bit more finalized as much as you can. But we need a way to navigate between those, and kind of the most obvious way would be to simply create a menu that we can navigate to. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take this home here. I'm just going to hold Alt and Shift and just slide this to the left, right? And then that's weird. There we go. And take you. Sorry, just here we go. And then I'm gonna double click and rename this, and let's call this menu. I'm gonna select this element, delete it, select this, delete it, select that, delete it. And then we're gonna take this box and I'm gonna pull this down. Okay, like that's the menu sliding down. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna write our text inside of here. Okay, so we'll line it up with the menu button. And that's a good color. And then what is it? Retroika. That's fine. So if you remember, we have Spotlight, About Us, and mine is Projects. Those are the 3 pages I have. Okay, so we'll do Spotlight. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a new one. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. So after that, I'm just going to hold Alt and Shift just to duplicate it, and then Alt and Shift still. There we go. And I'm double click on this one. Actually, I'm going to select this one and make sure that's left align. Left align. Okay, good. So we'll double click on this one, and then it was About Us, and then my last menu item was Projects. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this, and we're just going to bring this up a little bit. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I want to swap out this button, the menu button here, just either put like an X or something, but I actually do underneath my components here, I have this icon for like a back button. So I'm just going to put this back. I'll say like that. That looks acceptable. Okay. Maybe a little more to the left. Okay. So I'm going to call that my menu. Now what I want to do is I want to shrink my artboard so it's just the size of just this menu. So I'm going to do a basic menu where it's just like the overlay. When you click on this and it does it's like the drop down thing. Because that's typically what you see. I think it makes the most sense. But I can show you how you can actually make this like just a whole separate page if you wanted to as well. It's pretty easy. Okay, so we have that. So now I have this menu, and that looks pretty acceptable. Now I need to add that functionality, okay? And this is something we haven't really been doing yet, but if you go, we've been doing everything in design. If you go to Pro, okay, if you go to Prototype, now what we can do is actually hook this up. And what you're gonna see is that when you click on the elements, they'll have these little arrows here. And basically what those mean by default is that you would click and drag those, and then when you click on this, it will go to that element. You can even have it go to other elements within the object. So if I had like a really long artboard here, I could click and drag, and then this would automatically bring me to an area lower. So maybe I'll show you that as well. All right, so we're just going to try and add various functionalities. But first I'm going to do this menu just because, that makes the most sense. So most of them have that arrow. What you're going to notice is if we click on our menu, you'll see that this thing looks a little bit different. So you'll see it has this little 2. And that's because it has tap and or hover. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the toggle state because I want it for the tap, not for the hover, right? So if I click on hover, we don't want that one anyway. So just go to the toggle state. So with toggle state, I'm going to grab this little lightning bolt and just drag it over there. All right. So just as proof of concept, you can either hit play up here or you can hit Control Enter like you do for previewing a lot of other things. Now if I click up here, you can see it goes to the menu. All right. Now I know this looks bad, but we'll fix that in a second. All right. So that works pretty well. One of the issues with this though is that you already noticed was that it just takes over and it doesn't fit. Because why would it? What we want to do is actually overlay it. So what you're going to do is you click on the transition piece here. And like if you look up here, you can see we have the interaction type and then the action, right? So this is the event and then the handler. So right now it's on auto animate. It should be by transition by default. But we actually want to switch this to, though, is to overlay, okay? And what that's going to do is it's actually going to put this over top of it. But you can see right by default it's putting in the middle. So I'm just going to grab this and just snap this up to the top, okay? and that should now work. So let's try hit and play again. And if you click on it, you can see that now we have that element. All right, but you can see that obviously I can't get it back off. So we need to basically do the same thing, but going back with this arrow. So take the arrow. Let's go to the toggle state. And then I'm just going to click on the toggle state. And instead of dragging it, because this is going to overlay all of them. I only did it for the one so far, but obviously I'm going to have to do this to the other ones as well. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to have it on. And, trigger is the event. The action, I want to go to previous artboard. Now, let's click on the home again here and hit play. Now, when we click on it, this will happen. But when I click back, you can see it'll just go back to this one. And what's nice is when I hook up these other ones, it will go back to them as well. So there won't be any weirdness there. All right. So we're just going to hook up these other ones. So go to this artboard. And I'm going to go ahead and go toggle state. And I'm just going to click and drag this there. Let's just make sure that auto animate is fine. Should be transition. That looks good. And we'll do the same thing here. Select this one, make sure on toggle, and then we just want to make sure I can get to it. So I'm just going to zoom out here a little bit, grab that, and drag it over here. And we'll leave that on auto animate. I don't think it'll matter. So let's go ahead and go to home, hit the play button. And now when I click on that, you can see that doesn't do anything, but right, so that looks good. Let's go to about us and hit play. And same thing. And I forgot. We need to switch that not to transition. It's supposed to be overlay. You probably already noticed that. All right. And then we'll just snap that up. Good. Oops, all the way up. There we go. And this one again. Make sure we have it, and we want overlay. And again, drag that up. Okay. And now let's try again. Play. And we should be able to hit the menu. Good. You can see that works good. And let's do this one. Just make sure they're all working. And good. Okay. So now we have that menu that pops up and down. That looks fine. But this doesn't actually do anything. So we need to hook these up to the actual different things, right? So we'll take the spotlight here. And you can see it's just got the one element because we didn't make this a component like these. It doesn't have the multiple states. So I'm just going to click and we're just going to drag to this page. All right. Now you can see it uses, although it didn't do it with the other ones for whatever reason, it uses the last transition type. So it's going to do these as an overlay, which is obviously what we want. So make sure you have that selected. And we're going to go ahead and just do transition. Okay. And then we'll grab this one, arrow, drag that over here. And let's back this up so I can see a little bit better. Grab this one, arrow, drag that over here. And let's go ahead and hit play. Oops, I'm on this guy. Let's get a little bit closer here. All right. And we will hit play. Good. And if I go on this and go to About Us, goes to our About page. Go to here, go to Projects, go to Projects. I can still go back, Spotlight. And you can see now we can go to our various pages just by clicking on those various elements, okay? So we now have basically a working menu system. You could do all sorts of different things with this. So you could do something where you have it, come from the side, right? I could do a side one. Sometimes you see them come down to the side. You can come up from above. You can do it however you want. But the overlay works pretty well. So if you want to try different, you could do a whole page that when you just click on it, it's the whole page. That's totally fine too. I'm just showing you kind of what the most obvious one is. Try playing around with it. You might be able to get something kind of neat. So we'll call that good as far as the menu is concerned. I'm just going to show you a couple of other little things that you can do to, add a little pizzazz.